My name is Satvir Yadav. I am pursuing MTech in Food Technology from Banaras Hindu University. I am going to present my topic preservation and processing by UST and sterilization. So ultra high temperature generally given for a food product from the bun more than the bun 35 degree centigrade temperature for 2 seconds, or it's known generally as a aseptic packaging if we are using aseptic medium. So we can use UST for liquid food and food with solid particle and food with larger particle. So what are the purpose of the UST processing? There are the mainly to kill the microorganism that are the spore forming, and some microorganism that may be for the spoilage, and some pathogenic microorganism. So UST is responsible for killing all kind of the microorganism. There are the two method of the processing. First is the direct heating and second is the indirect heating. So generally in the direct heating, we give the heat to food through the direct contact. In generally direct heating, 140 degree centigrade is maintained for 4 seconds. And there are the three type. First is the injection, infusion and electric heating. So in injection, a high pressure steam is the directly applied for the food product through the steam injector. And in infusion, a direct contact heating process which steam condense on the surface of the pumpable kind of the food. Some food products are the milk, cream, soya milk, ketchup are the infused through the steam. And third one is the electric heating. In the electric heating, a heat is the provided through the electric chamber, and the heat is the provided through a setup of the that is the conducted through the electrically. And second method of the UST is the indirect heating. In the indirect heating, a partition placed between the food product which act as a heating or cooling medium. No direct contact between the food product and the heating medium. So there are the three type of the indirect heating. First is the plate heat exchanger, and second is the tubular heat exchanger, and third one is the scrapped heat exchanger. So generally plate heat exchanger, we know that there are the plate used in the heat exchanger, and the steam flow between the plate and the pipe through the plate is the assembled, and the food product like the liquid food, maybe milk, and the some liquid kind of the food, maybe the pasta, and the purees and the tomato ketchup, these flow from the pipeline, and the steam and the we can use steam and the hot water between the plate. And third one is the tubular heat exchanger. So generally tubular heat exchanger used such kind of the food that has the very high viscosity. For example, tomato ketchup has the high viscosity in comparison of the juice, in comparison of the milk. So these kind of the product generally heated through the tubular heat exchanger. We know in the spray dryer, condensed milk generally evaporated through the evaporator, that is the also uh, is also used tubular heat exchanger. And third one is the scrapped surface heat exchanger. They consist of the jacketed cylinder equipped with the central rotating dasher, that is the rotate from the 600 to 700 rpm with the scrapping blade. In the scrapped surface heat exchanger, scrap blade are the used in the rotating format, and these scrapped surface heat exchanger generally used for the food product that are the more viscous. And next topic is the sterilization. So it is the process by which all microorganisms, may be pathogenic or non-pathogenic, are killed through the treatment of the sterilization. So sterilization may be two type. First is the through the heat treatment, and second is the chemical treatment. Generally heat treatment is used for the food product that are mostly have the viscous nature, and the chemical treatment is used in the industry for the some chemical treatment. And there are the so many recent advances in the sterilization, that is known as the cold sterilization, that is also used in sterilization. For example, dense phase based CO2 pasteurization, and we know that ethylene oxide based treatment. These all kind of the chemicals is used in the sterilization process. We know that the chemical nature is the responsible for the killing of the microorganism. For example, the CO2 is the generally acidic nature in dense phase, that is the attack on the microorganism by the lowering the pH. And the heat treatment, there are the two type of the heat is used, dry heat and the moist heat. So there are generally two type of the nature of the heat, dry and the moist heat. And we know that the dry heat generally be used in different time of the process in the, especially in the industry, by the red heat and the flaming. In the red heat, it is used to sterilize the metallic object by the holding them in the flame till they are red hot. Example, inoculating the wire, needles and forceps. And flaming is also used just as a dry heat treatment. And there is a very most common example of the moist heat is autoclave. And hot air oven is also a type of the sterilization. In this especially the dry heat is used. And we know that autoclave is used in the industry for that there are for many kind of the chemical treatment and many kind of the test. In this especially the moist heat is the used in the form of the steam. And boiling and pasteurization, these all are the example of the moist heat. I have mentioned about the autoclave, and there is a some working principle of the autoclave. And now we come on the uh, cold sterilization. In the cold sterilization, radiation is the very common example of the cold sterilization. In radiation, X-rays, gamma rays, and the high-speed electrons are the used for the radiate material. When a material is comes in the contact with the X-rays and the gamma rays, and these rays are the responsible for disrupt the plasma of a bacteria and any kind of the microorganism. So this is the simple function of the radiation. And there are the two type of the radiation: ionizing radiation and non-ionizing radiation. In non-ionizing radiation, ultraviolet light and infrared light is the used. So these form of radiation can be used to kill or inactivate microorganism. So I have explained about the ionization radiation. There is the simple phenomena that is used the penetration or power of the X-ray and the gamma ray, that is the depend on the efficiency of the ionization radiation. And this all the process known as the cold sterilization, because in these treatment there is no need of any kind of the heat and the temperature. And another method is the chemical method of the sterilization. So here are the so many articles or subject to sterilize by the using toxic gases. The gas penetrate easily into the material like steam, so the sterilization is effective. But the chance of explosion and cost factor are also considered in the, especially in the chemical sterilization. And there are the so many research are the going on in the chemical method of the sterilization. And we use different kind of the chemical, especially to kill the microorganism on the surface of the utensils. Some, if we are using any dry product and the powder product, then CIP process is not possible in the food industry. So these chemicals are the use. And very common example, sodium hypochlorite is used in the industry to kill the microorganism of any kind of the surface. And that is also permissible by the FSSAI for a certain level of the limit. So there are some differences. I have covered all the topic, and thank you so much for listening me.